Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie. This one right here. And these other little ebooks right there, guys. Everything you want is down in that description. Merchandise, Patreon, cocktail of the day, everything. So go down and fiddle about. I love it. And as always, thank you so much, everybody, to the community we're building here, to the other groupies from the 80s who are going to be coming on. Like, I've got a really awesome chick, Dee Dee Thunder, a.k.a. Diana Williams. She's coming on. We're going to have another visit with the wonderful Desiree. Marie's coming back. Kristen's coming back. And I might even get Danny back. So thank you guys all so much for making this channel amazing. To everybody who subscribed, my members, everybody, thank you so, so much. The lurkers, all of you. And to say thank you, you guys, I always like to do these episodes, the Q&A episodes. So today I'm going to be answering some questions from Miss Lucia and Linda. Two really awesome ladies. And we are going to be having a little chalada. Because it is 103 degrees. I'm in the mood for a little Bloody Mary beer. Because you guys, I think you're figuring out this is my second favorite next to a bourbon soak. Because I'm always a bitch for a bourbon soak. So everybody grab your chaladas, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails, shall we? Cheers, big ears. Just so, so good. I mean, I love a Bloody Mary breakfast the morning after, you know. You're downstairs, you're a little bit hungover, you're at the hotel restaurant having breakfast. Perfect little Bloody Mary, and I'm a brew head, so this for me is absolute heaven. All right, so let's get right into the questions. So we're going to start with Lucia's questions. Lucia's such a sweetheart. I love her. Have you ever had trouble getting too emotionally involved when you know there's no future with the rocker? Oh, this is such a complicated one because being with a rocker is complicated whether you're the wife at home, the groupie on the road wife, family, kids, whatever. It's all so complicated. And yes, I have become emotionally involved because, of course, after 8 years, like with Vinnie Paul, 5 years with Steve Jones, 5 years hanging out with James Hetfield, 13 years with the bass player, 13 years with John. So you are going to have emotions, but with that said, emotions for me, when it comes to musicians and stuff, I can keep them in check because I am a Virgo. So as far as my emotions go, I can kind of separate the reality and the heart and soul, you know, from the brain and all that. So if you're going to approach it, you're going to realize, yes, you will have emotions sometimes for these rockers, for the guys that you're dating, especially, I mean, there's always a certain chemistry, and the way I can tell is if I'm attached to someone, is if I'm leaving their hotel room to go home and they're leaving town. There's been a couple that I've cried. Walked down that hallway, doing the walk of shame, crying. And I'm like, oh, fuck. This ain't good. Because here's the thing. You have to put your emotions into perspective and realize exactly what kind of relationship you have, because relationships aren't always so cut and dry or defined. You know, I mean, you have to realize that, yes, you may have feelings, but there is not going to be a future without rock star. There might be, and the future may be 8 years, like I said, with Vinnie Paul. 13 years with John, 13 years with bass player. You know, so first love with James Hetfield, first falling, emotions felt on the road, I should say. Because you have to realize that this is not your husband, this is not your man, this is not your forever, this is not, you're going to fall in love with everybody you fall into bed with in rock and roll. You have to remember that, you know. You can still feel love. You can still feel those emotions. That's okay. They just happen. There's nothing you can do to control them. And I have my answer written down. So you there was a future for spending time with my friend, my lover, a partner on the road, and that was enough for me. Knowing that I was going to have these moments that were special just to me and him. That he was going to be feeling something back for me, because otherwise he wouldn't be flying me out on the road, or we wouldn't be spending tour after tour after tour, time on the road, time off the road together. He would not be emotionally, intimately vulnerable towards me either, and vice versa. So you do get these perks. Just remember that the perks are not defined in your typical relationship. They're defined in a friendship. They're defined in being lovers. And I've talked about being lovers before. It's an amazing thing. I think the art of being a lover has been lost. And for me, that's what I was as a groupie. I had the art of being the perfect lover down. And like I said, emotions are involved in that, because you do care about the person that you're spending time after time after time with. And of course, there's one night stands, couple week stands, whatever, that are not necessarily emotionally charged, but physically, mentally, you connect, you like hanging out, you're having a good time, but that's all it's going to be. So kind of keep that in mind. You can have these emotions, but don't bottle them up into the society ideal of what these emotions are supposed to be. Let them appreciate the time you spend with the person. Let them appreciate the human being that they are and the connection you have. Just realize what they are. So for me, the emotions were never that complicated, because I can separate what is type of relationship it is, because there are different relationships. Like, you have different emotions for your friends, for your family, for your acquaintances, for my followers and stuff like this, because I do love everybody here. But I do have love for, like, Vincent Paul, for Steve Jones, for James, for John. I always did have love for them. But like I said, it was just different. So yeah, it's hard for a lot of people to really kind of realize that it's emotions, and falling for someone isn't always going to come to this preconceived society notions end. It can be something just as amazing, just as awesome. It can be something bigger than being stuck at home. You still have that trust. But so, yeah, I think a lot of women do kind of fall a little too hard and kind of try to put it into this normal box, when rock and roll is not normal, and that includes its relationships, whether you're the woman on the road or the woman at home. It's not normal. So just keep them in check and appreciate the situation for what it is. If it does grow to much more and you do become a wife, cool. But there's a whole different type of emotion, because you're also dealing with him being out on the road and you not being with him. And how did you meet? On the road, when his last relationship wasn't with him. So again, because anger, frustration, rejection, those are emotions too. But like I said, if you keep things in perspective, you're not going to feel rejected, because you're going to keep this friendship going. You're going to have this lover for a long time. That he feels that same chemistry, same interest, same attraction, same comfort that keeps drawing him back. You still have all that. You just don't have the wedding ring. And that's okay. So, really good question there, because, like I said, a lot of girls go backstage, especially these days, and they think, because online relationships and things are so different. They really weren't different for me, except for online. We just had the phone. So a lot of girls go backstage thinking, I'm going to meet the love of my life. I'm going to marry. Someone's going to fall just as in love with me. And it doesn't mean that you're not a wonderful human being, a wonderful heart and soul, that somebody doesn't want to make you their wife. It's okay. You're still amazing. You're still awesome. You're still cool. You're still a comfort. You are still a human being that they enjoy being themselves when they're not the rock stars on stage. That's pretty awesome in my eyes. So I was always really happy with the situations that I had because I knew how to look at each different situation in the reality and not for what I projected or wanted it to be or what the butterflies have been taught for me to be. Gotta break out of the box, ladies, if you're gonna be a groupie. All right. And nothing towards Lucy or anybody. That's just my feeling. Like I said, there's different kinds of relationships and you have to appreciate them. And it's okay to have the feelings for that type of relationship. So, all right. And what are my go-to groupie outfits of each era? I will do a future on this because people think because of Almost Famous, because of the 70s girls, there's going to be this one outfit, this one look that groupies have. Well, in my generation and the other girls that I knew, we went with the style. We read Vogue and we emulated what we saw in Vogue. Like I've talked to you guys about one of my favorite from the late 80s, early 90s when I first started dancing. Hold on, let me get it. Okay, I'm back. So this dress, I still have this. When you guys, I talk about the night that Danny was throwing up on that band when we were in Denver with Metallica, and I was wearing this long flowered dress that I hurdled the fence in. Well, this is it. Let's go over a little bit. This is that dress. So not something you think a groupie would wear, right? This was really kind of in trend in the early 90s, late 80s. It had this little clip that made it this perfect. But see, the groupie underneath wore thigh-high stockings and beautiful lingerie. That's my secret to reveal. So, but now this is something I would wear with a pair of jeans. Like I had this pair of jeans from Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes that I was like, I love those jeans, I'm taking them. When we were hanging out with them, I never slept with them or anything like that. I was just like, I love those jeans, I want them. So he gave them to me. So I would wear this. Like my first day in Vegas, which I've talked about, that I was there for a few days, but the first day I went to audition for Little Darlings, I was wearing this. So this is with those bell-bottom kind of patchwork jeans, which I don't know where they are. I have them somewhere. But so this was what I was wearing. So it's a little crop top, you know, little vest, cute little thing, kind of 90s grunge, rock and roll type of thing. But I could also wear this with like a satin skirt. And ladies, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the essentials is always, and I have an obsession with boots. Always have a fierce pair of boots. My obsession, thigh highs. So these days I might wear something more like this with my black boots. This is a little more age appropriate, more sophisticated, little different style. So, you know, it's like different eras, different things. Of course, in the 80s, we wore garters and stockings because Madonna had made that into fashion and the style at the time. And we wore spandex with zebra stripes and leopard print and big hair because that was a sign of our tribe, of the rockers. That was also in style. But then as things progressed, you know, like I said, the 90s come along, you have a different style. I'm reading Vogue. I'm doing my own style, expressing my own self. I'm not following some Almost Famous fucking movie and wearing what I think a groupie would wear. I would just wear what I expressed my style in at that moment in time. Another favorite outfit was this. I had bought it at Nordstrom, and it was a sheer long shirt that would kind of tied in the front with these sheer pants, and they were just this black silk sheer material, and I'd wear a bustier and a thong back underneath it with some nice heels and platforms. There was this one, I remember this one photo shoot in Vogue that I really, really loved. And this woman had this striped dress on. She had all these bangles. It was really tight floor length. So I went out and I found me that dress. I emulated that look. I put the black gloves on that she had, and I would go out. And there's actually a picture of me with Jakey Lee wearing another outfit that I had seen in that same Vogue shoot that was a long black dress, black gloves, some thick silver bangles up my arm. So it really was relative because, you know, the band sees someone come in your typical groupie outfit. Even these days, like you go to the, what do you call it, Bret Michaels concert or Def Leppard concert, and you see the jeans and the rock t-shirt and the heels and the da-da-da-da-da. Everybody has on that same thing. I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to blend in. And yes, I do wear jeans and thigh-high boots or a t-shirt and stuff when I'm just being casual. You know, I do more dressing up the night before when I'm actually going out with my friends. And by the night of the concert, I'm probably wearing jeans, thigh-high boots, and a t-shirt. Not a rock t-shirt, but like a cool t-shirt with, you know, drop down in the back. I've got jewelry on, hair done, you know. So it really depends on my mood that day, what I'm wearing, and what the style of the moment is. But then as you get older, you get settled into your own comfort zone and your own style, and you don't have to follow trends. So you know what, just when it comes to fashion, just be true to who you are, and never be afraid to step outside the box and wear everything. You don't have to go to the thrift store to get a fur-lined coat to look like a cool groupie. Just be yourself. Groupie's not about what you wear. It's about what you bring, the attitude, your heart and soul, the connection, your love for the music. That's what it's about. So always, ladies, be comfortable in your own skin. Be true to your own style, and don't be afraid to be different. You don't want to blend in. Like girls, they want to go meet the band. They get to the concert, there's 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 other women wearing the same thing. Dare to be different. Because my friends and I always were. We always did something different. We might have taken the current fashion at the time and put a little twist on it. But then in the 90s, when grunge was, I mean, seriously, like, grunge was a thing. We wore long johns and combat boots over cut-down sweats and a t-shirt. Seriously, I would wear that to hang out with bands sometimes. But not all the time, because I always wanted to feel like myself. I always wanted to feel like that lover and the woman that I was. And I wanted to reflect that from the outside. So that's what I did. I just kind of went in, tried stuff on, and decided what I wanted to wear. Now in Vegas in the early 2000s, hold on, let me get the outfit I was wearing when I was with John. Okay, I'm back. So I had an obsession with white pants in the early 2000s, but this is what I was wearing with John. Not slutty at all, right? Just a yellow blue. This is what I was wearing the night John died in the early 2000s, because the white pants were very much a look. So, and I actually ordered all this on Victoria's Secret back then. So this is, like I said, not exactly what you would think, and this is during the Almost Famous era. This is not exactly what you think a groupie would be wearing. And I had this really cute pair of just beige sandals, the heeled sandals that I would wear with it. And I only wore it that night because I tried to wear the shirt another day a few months later. Boy, did I have a shitty day. It was just a bad look outfit. So it just hangs in my closet now because it is part of rock and roll memorabilia, because that's what I was wearing the night John Entwistle died next to me in bed. Not on top of me like some people say. It wasn't the seedy situation. And as you can see, wasn't a seedy groupie outfit. Like, it wasn't jeans and the t-shirt. It wasn't a mini skirt cut up to my hoo-ha with some bikini top, which is great for an outdoor concert and stuff. But, you know, sometimes what you wear reflects not, God, how do I put this? You're not one in a million. It makes you stand out. So never be one in a million. Always be one in a million. Never blend in with them. Never blend into the crowd. All right. And this is a good question because, you know, I see a need for women wanting to connect. Is there an online platform to connect with other groupies? This is the third question from Lucia, because Lucia had some really great questions. So, is there an online platform to connect with other groupies? Not anymore. But you guys come here, because I'm telling you, down in those comments, a lot of those girls. So, Lucia, if you see Desiree, if you see Linda, if you see Karen, if you see, oh, there's so many women down there. The majority of women commenting were groupies in the 80s. So, this is becoming the one place where we can all actually connect. And maybe I will start a message board because, like you said, all the ones are defunct. When There was a Groupie Central. That was the very first board. And that was not so much as a connection place. Like Pamela DeBar's found people for her TV shows on there. Bebe Buell was on there. So a lot of us old heavy hitters were on there. But nobody was really connecting and the bands weren't on there. Then along came Metal Sludge. Oh my God, you guys. That place was off the hook. Like tons of 80s groupies from all over the world were on there. We were talking big time. And it became like the Donna's Ho board came a hot spot for like 2 years. And then, the trolls started coming in and just sort of faded out. We all just sort of left and started doing things on Instagram and TikTok and taking it to other platforms. And now it's just sort of, but if you go through, I was Sin City Queenie. It was supposed to be Queenie, but I accidentally spelled Queenie wrong. So Queenie, which is slang for something, something. So might as well be that. But anyway, so there are not really where you can connect. I know there's Reddit and stuff, but everybody is in such competition to not only get the rocker, but have the better connection and the bigger story. And it's like, okay. So, you know what? You want to connect with other groupies? Come here, because there are tons down in the comments. There's tons on my Instagram and my Facebook pages from my time. Maybe not from your time, but I do have a lot of women that are wanting to be groupies now that maybe you can connect with. But if you're by yourself at a concert, it's okay. Some of the best times in Vegas, most of the time, and these days, I go by myself. A lot of times in Vegas, I was by myself, hanging out with my men, hanging out with the bands and stuff. And today, I go by myself. Because it's my social circle. These are my friends. I feel most comfortable, safe, respected, seen as who I am by all these guys because they've known me for 30 some odd years. And I don't have to explain myself or my history to them. I don't have to hide the history. So going by yourself to concerts is actually really fun. And I always met other groupies there. How do you think I met Marie and Antoinette and stuff like that? Like Danny and I already knew each other. We just had the same desires. We had the same draw, the same path. Kristen and I met at a party. And I think really honestly for me, that's really the way to connect is meeting the other groupies when you're backstage. And because, your friendship connections, the chemistry you share as friends is really important too. Because it will play when you're hanging with the band. If you have like a Cammy who was the wallflower at all times and gave those jealousy, undercutting, snarky remarks, that's going to put a buzzkill on the night. So I would say if you want advice, come here and talk to all of us because there are some women that are really great to connect with. Always stay in contact with me. I'm going to encourage you because rock and roll needs more old school style groupies and not starfuckers that are around most of the time today. And Lucia, you're definitely in that old school groupie category. So you will meet other girls because it does get lonely being the only woman with your man sometimes. And he's off doing a thing and you're with whatever babysitter roadie that he assigned to you or sitting in the room or having lunch by yourself and exploring the city by yourself. It gets lonely. But you know what? Meeting the other women here, meeting other women backstage, don't be afraid to say, hey, I've seen you a couple other times backstage. Let's change numbers and maybe hang out together. So try that because the online platforms, like I said, Reddit, Instagram, all that, TikTok, it's all bullshit. It's all fake. It's all lies. It's all pretend. They wouldn't know what to do with their rock star between their legs if their life depended on it. So the best way to meet other groupies still is at that hotel bar. You see another girl with a man, that may not be his wife or girlfriend. That may be his road wife, his groupie, his lover, his on-the-road relationship. So, a lot of amazing women here and newer groupies here too. So feel free to start conversations and ask questions down in the comments. I love it. And other women will answer as well. And the other groupies here, feel free to jump in any conversation. It's not just between me and that person. You know, give advice that you're, or be the ear, or become friends with each other on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Because we do need that network. We do need to stay strong with each other as groupies. Because, you know, I'm all inclusive and I don't judge anybody. I'm not here to. I know the realities, and I embrace all people. And as women, and especially groupies as rock chicks, we need to embrace that. Yes, there will be jealousy and competition, but you always have your friends, just like I had Kristen, Danny, Marie, Davany, Andrea, Cousin Amy. We always had our core group of friends, and it is important to have that, to have those people that understand you. So, Lucia, you're not alone. And I know you are going to meet some other amazing women that you are going to create the same bonds with, and I'm excited for you. And you're always welcome here. Always to be yourself, always to be open, and never be afraid to ask more questions. I love that you asked it. All right. And the last question of today is from another woman who has a long rock and roll history backstage, Linda. I love her to death. She's amazing. She always has a great reality, a great sense of humor about it, and always have a sense of humor when you're hanging out backstage. Never take things too seriously. Okay? So, but now Linda asks, because a lot of you who have read my book know that, you know, having, and this kind of goes back to Lucia's last question, is there an online platform to connect with other groupies? The people that I hung out with in high school were not groupies per se, except for Kristen and Danny. But the rest of my high school crowd was not. They were very judgmental, very backstabby, very talking shit behind your back. So, and it was always hurtful, but I did stay in contact, in touch with you know, like a couple of the girls. There was one girl, the name starts with a T. She would come hang out backstage with us. We stayed friends after high school. She got married, had a couple kids, got out of that relationship, moved to Texas to where her family was, got remarried, had other secrets to keep, which I kept her secrets. Kept them. Because I'm loyal, because I am a true friend like that. And she was headed from Texas to Michigan. I was in a town that was along the way of her drive. And I really needed someone at that point in my life. That was the relationship that I don't talk about for 2.5 years that just destroyed me in every way, shape, or form, to the point where I made a noose. I didn't know I knew how to make a noose, but I did. And I really needed a friend just to stop and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Just to have lunch with that day. Nothing else. She kept on driving, went right on past. But she expected me, and this is how it always kind of was for you know, those people in high school. They expected everything out of you but gave nothing in return. So recently I just kind of sent her an email about 6 or 7 months ago. I'm just like, I'm going to block you on all my Facebook. You are a lovely, loving memory, but you are not a true friend to me that I've been to you. When I needed someone just to talk to, you weren't there. But I was there through every secret you kept, and you know what those secrets are. They could cost you a lot. What, the second or third house you built? Yeah, they could, Tracy. Oh, did I say her name out loud? Tracy. Yes. No loyalty to me. I'm not going to have loyalty. So, and of course, high school reunions and stuff. Yes, I have run into them there. They're like, oh, hey, it's still the same fake bullshit. Still the same fake bullshit. And there was a guy from high school, you know, that I was close. We were all in that close-knit group, part of this little group of rocker friends, and we'd stay the night at each other's houses, party together at parties when I wasn't hanging out with bands, and didn't talk to him for a good, I don't know, 15 years since high school. 15 years in 2002. And it wasn't until later that year I got an email, which I don't know how he found my email address. Maybe it was on Facebook when Facebook first started. But it was 2002, so I don't think Facebook was around. But anyway, I don't know how he got my email, but he sends me an email. Hey, how you doing? I heard about you being with Mr. Edgewistle and all. My mom lives down there, which we were all close with his mom, Holly. She was kind of the party mom, you know, and Never judged anybody, never judged them. We knew things were hard with Dusty because your mom sleeping with your friends is always kind of a fucked up situation, right? So he comes skeezing out of the woodwork. Oh, I heard about you and Mr. Entwistle. Oh, I'd love to know more about that. And this is before the tabloids and stuff. And I'm like, excuse me, what the fuck? Or like a year after the tabloids. And I was like, not even a how are you? How have things gone? You know, my mom lives in Vegas. It's a bummer. Are you still there? She would love to say hi. Nothing that a true friend was. So you have to realize, and my dad said something very, very early on in my life that really actually makes a lot of sense. You will have 1,000 acquaintances in your life, but very few friends. Very few. My friends, cousin Amy, she knows she can call me. I love her dearly. She and I have a soul connection from past lives, but we don't talk because she turned her back on me. You know, so it's hard and it's kind of sad and it makes me really sad. But you know who my friends still are? Marie, Danny, Kristen, the other groupies, and Desiree, and Diana Williams, other groupies that I've met along the way. So, you know, that taught me. Oh, in high school, boy that I dated, Dell dated him after high school too. Same old bullshit. But, so my high school friends, you know, like I said, when my dad said you have thousands of acquaintances throughout your life, but very few friends, I always held on to that, and it gave me a perspective to kind of be able to look to see who were my acquaintances and my actual friends. And you may not talk to your friends every day. You may not talk to them every month. But you know, you can call them up in the worst days and they're still there. So, my high school friends, have I run into them? Yes. Have I let them have the same effect on me that I did in high school? Fuck no. Because you know who my high school friends are? Oh, I don't know. A few musicians, couple roadies. They stayed my friends. But those high school people, and a lot of ladies, especially in this business, can tell you, friends will come and go quicker than your knickers. Or acquaintances will come and go quicker than your knickers. You can see your friends real quick, because they're the ones that actually ask you to go out to lunch, ask you to go places and do things, and call you first thing in the morning. Sometimes, like cousin Amy and I, we would call our moms, then we would call each other. What you doing? What you doing? Oh, I'm getting ready to go shopping. Okay, you wanted me to Jamba Juice, and then we'll go blah, 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 blah. Those are going to be your friends. And maybe not all friendships are meant to last either. You know, I thought those high school people were my friends, but they're not. They're just two-faced bullshit. They start drama online. They do, and I just don't need them as friends, and I do run into them. Paula, she's a friend from high school that I like to keep. Because she's a true, genuine person, and she doesn't judge me, and she doesn't use me. And I'll take her backstage with me because she's awesome. But, yeah, so, yeah, not really. I learned even in high school that I knew in high school that I probably would not be friends with those people the rest of my life. And I'm not. And I'm right. And I think we all need to step back and really cherish the 2 or 3 friends that we have, that we can call, that we know we can count on no matter where we are in the fucking world or what the hell is going on in our lives, good or bad. So, yeah, I have seen those classmates in high school, and they kind of flitter about me in a gossipy kind of way, and I just ignore them because they have no value in my life. There was a lady, an Asian Japanese lady, a few years back, 5 or 6 years ago, that was like teaching people how to declutter their homes, and if it has no value when you hold on to it, you have to get rid of it. Same concept for your acquaintances. And I do still live in the same town, but a lot of those acquaintances, they stayed in the same area we went to high school, which is like way out in the suburbs, 20 miles from downtown and stuff. And I live downtown and in Sugar House, and, I live a different life than they do. So it's just, they have no value in my life outside of maybe oh, hey, good to see you, hug, bye type of way. And even then, we really don't want to say hello. I can look at you across the room and just be like, hi. Yeah, bye. But yeah, like I said, I do run into them from time to time at concerts, and they're still out in the front row. And they're still asking me to get them backstage passes. That's the only thing you'll ever get from me again. For those ones. But like I said, Paula, Cousin Amy, Andrea, these are the people that I cherish, that I know are still going to be my friends at some point. Or as my rock and roll friends, that's who's important. And like I said, with Lucia, I think that's important when you are trying to connect with other groupies and have that friend that you're talking about. That's important to know, to be able to look, is this an acquaintance or is this my friend? Because Linda's been through it, without a doubt. Linda's been through that, being used when she thought she had a good friend there, and then poof, they're gone with the next concert that, they're not there until the next concert they want to go to presents itself. But yeah, I run into him, and I just don't even bother with them, and I don't even hide it either. Because I can't hide. I've been very, very lucky in my life that I've never had to put on a work persona, put on this persona, put on a brave face, well, we all put on brave faces, but put on a facade. Even what you see here, this is just me. So that's the kind of people we all need as friends. The people who are just them. Don't need to fit into society or, stuff like that. They can see beyond all that. But all right, you guys, so that's it for the questions today. I do have a lot more that I will address in another Q&A session, because you guys always come up with some really great questions that I haven't answered before. So thank you so much for Lucia and Linda today for the questions, and I hope you got something positive, something good, something you can take with you with the answers, because, like I said, the answers with me, they're real. And I think, somebody had said, well, how come, somebody said to me once a long time ago, well, how come Pamela DeBars never talks like this? Because Pamela DeBars was in it for her ego. She never saw past herself. She wasn't a true part of the type of family that we were, and that I still am with a few of the guys. And so she's not going to talk about this. She's going to talk about a fairy tale that's backstage. She's not going to talk about the reality, like don't poop on the tour bus. Don't get in the way of the goddamn roadies and step over the fucking cables. Right? But stuff like that. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's question and answers. If you have more, put them down in the comments. I'm always going to answer your questions, whether it's immediately in the comments or in one of my videos. So thank you, Linda and Lucia, for the awesome questions. I'll get to everybody else's in a couple more videos that I will answer in a few more episodes. So thank you guys so much for all the love and support. And do not forget to go down in that description. For those of you guys just lurking around, if you don't want to subscribe, just at least hit the like. Watch the commercials. Support the channel and hit my bells so that you will always be reminded that Sunday and Wednesday is Cocktails and Rocktails. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great week ahead. Cheers, big ears.